Now, Oklahoma City's news leaders: Roger Cooper, Jennifer Eve, sports with John Snyder, and Oklahoma's #1 meteorologist, Gary England. This is Newsline 9.
Good evening. Up to 1,100 Oklahoma inmates may be out from behind bars and on the streets come June the 30th. It is all part of an expanded house arrest program mandated by the governor and the legislative leaders. But now the growing program is being questioned by some concerned parties at the state capitol, as Newsline 9's Tracy Bryan reports.
More than 900 Oklahoma inmates are not looking at the world through metal bars anymore. They're out on house arrest. That means they are still strictly supervised, but in their own homes. They leave places like this to work in their community. Corrections Director Larry Meacham has drawn criticism from the House Corrections Committee for his expanded use of the program. He's now made it possible for inmates within 27 months of release to be eligible for house arrest. Just a month ago, only inmates within 11 months to go qualified. Committee Chairman James Hamilton is concerned about the rising number of prisoners out on the streets.
And I'm not saying that there are some inmates who wouldn't benefit with this, but by going from 7 to 1,200 in a period of 12 months, it's just too extreme, in my opinion.
Meacham says he's open to suggestions from the legislature on how it would like him to deal with a growing, overcrowded prison system. He says house arrest is about the only option he sees available for now.
And if that's not what the legislature wants, then all they got to do is tell me. Now, I guess that's the one thing I'd like for you to understand, is that if this is not the way the state wants to deal with this overcrowding problem, then they got to deal with it some way, because the only option that we don't have is to not deal with it.
Meacham says building another maximum security prison could help solve overcrowding, but the state's budget shortfall will probably bar that option. So for now, it appears the house arrest program will continue to expand as Oklahoma's prison population grows. Tracy Bryan, Newsline 9.
2 inmates who escaped from the Muskogee County Jail are back in custody tonight. The men Jackie Lee Collins and his cellmate Jackie Dawn Harris apparently called the jail superintendent this morning to turn themselves in. They escaped yesterday after allegedly overpowering a guard who was bringing them breakfast. The men took the jailer's gun and car. Authorities picked the 2 up this morning in southern Muskogee County. And the U.S. Supreme Court has refused to reinstate the death penalty against Oklahoma prison inmate Monty Lee Eddings. Eddings was sentenced to die for the shotgun murder of State Trooper Larry Crabtree back in 1977. His death sentence was overturned by the State Court of Criminal Appeals. And Crabtree's son Mike says his family expected the High Court's ruling, but he feels the system, which his father tried to protect, has let him down.
Loved his work, and he was out there, for the system. But yet, the system's turned around, and, I think it's betrayed us. The judges, they'll hear the lawmen put their life on the line, and the judges, send the criminal back out.
Eddings, who has served 7 years of his life sentence, will be eligible for parole in just a few months.
Some people who are convicted of crimes end up being sent to a mental hospital.
And sometimes their presence there causes concern because of the potential for danger to those who live near the hospital. Gan Matthews has been following one such case. Gan?
Jennifer, Roger, on Friday we told you about a convicted child molester who's now committed to Central State Griffin Memorial Hospital in Norman. We told you about some people who were concerned about his freedom to move around the grounds of the hospital without supervision. But representatives of the State Mental Health Department believe the man poses little danger to the community. The Central State patient advocate says only once has the man left the grounds of the hospital. Apart from that, the advocate says the patient has abided by the rules that limit his movements to the hospital property. The man was committed to Central State by Cleveland County Judge Alan Couch. Couch is forbidden by law from discussing the man's case, but the judge thinks the Department of Mental Health does a good job of supervising its patients.
By and large, the Department of Mental Health has done an adequate job insofar as I've been able to determine in the experience I've had on the bench for 17 years and having responsibility for mental health matters.
The Department of Mental Health says the patient is now accompanied by an escort anytime he is on the grounds of Central State. The patient advocate says the man was provided with the escort to protect him from publicity and from those inside and outside the hospital who might lure him outside the Central State boundaries. The Inspector General for the Mental Health Department is looking into patient supervision policy at Central State. Now, the Cleveland County District Attorney's Office could ask Judge Couch to reopen the man's case, but the district attorney may not do that so long as the patient has an escort with him. Jennifer?
Again, heart transplant recipient Robert Fortson appears to be out of the woods. Phil Van Staveren reports that he's now been moved to the intensive care unit.
It was a critical weekend for the 36-year-old Wagner man. Before the weekend, Dr. Nazi Zudi cautiously expressed concern about Fortson's kidney function. But this morning he said Fortson's kidneys were working much better.
His kidneys are working now at 90% capacity. The biopsy from the heart muscle revealed no rejection, and he's absolutely doing just great. He is doing as well as Nancy Rogers at the same period of time.
And although Robert Fortson was a little hoarse from the tube in his throat, he let everyone know how he felt.
I'm doing great. It's a whole lot better than 2 weeks ago, I'll say that one thing.
Oh, that's good.
And I am very appreciative this hospital here, the hospital at Wagner, especially Baptist Medical Center, to give me the second opportunity in my lifetime.
In the meantime, Fortson's wife, Joyce, was on a different mission. She was going to the Northwest Tag Agency to have her driver's license changed. She said she had never thought about being a donor before she learned that her husband needed a heart transplant. So before it was too late, she and the rest of her family who weren't signed up as organ donors decided to change that. Phil Van Staveren, Newsline 9.
And Phil says Nancy Rogers, the first heart transplant patient at Baptist, got some more encouraging news this morning. If she continues to recover at the same rate, Dr. Nazi Zudi said she can go home a week from today. That is super news.
Both cases there. More to come on Newsline 9.
Gary will tell us if today's warm weather will lessen tomorrow.
Lessons to be learned from a livestock show.
The state's still showing an interest in the GM Saturn plant.
The Cleveland County officials were interested in the state's special election. Stay with us.
Cleveland County officials want residents there to be able to vote on liquor by the drink. A state election will be held April the 30th. Commissioners say they'll vote in favor of having the county option placed on the state ballot. It's a move that officials say will save the county about $18,000. A separate election in Cleveland County for the liquor issue would be costly. Commissioner Ken Wilson says it appears many residents support liquor by the drink.
Just from talking to the people and what few people that we have talked to or have called in, and most of them that has called in are in favor of it. And of course, I think the reason is for the revenue that will be coming to the cities, the counties, and the states.
Commissioners have until the end of March to decide if the option should be on the state ballot.
Oklahoma is still trying to lure the new General Motors Saturn plant to our state. Governor Nye, however, said today that a trip to Detroit by state leaders has been postponed. The group was to leave Friday. In an interview this weekend, General Motors Chairman Roger Smith said the company won't choose a state just because of the tax incentives it offers. Smith says that is a factor, but if the state's treasury is in trouble or the school system there is bad, there's a good chance that state won't be chosen. It looks as though a large number of Phillips stockholders are choosing to get rid of their stock. The company was willing to buy back 72.5 million shares as part of its recapitalization plan. But shareholders tendered nearly twice that amount. The result? Each shareholder will get back about half his stock.
Political action committees may spend unlimited amounts of money to back presidential candidates. That ruling today from the U.S. Supreme Court. In a 7-2 vote, the justices upheld a lower court's ruling that a spending limit is a violation of constitutional rights. That limit was set at $1,000. However, the limit was not enforced during the 1980 or 84 elections. And President Reagan is on his way back to Washington after a 2-day summit with Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney. The Shamrock Summit ended with smiles and handshakes, and the two leaders say they reached solid agreement on nearly all subjects discussed. This included the problem of acid rain, which is of great concern to Canada. President Reagan and Mulroney each agreed to appoint special envoys to study the acid rain problem.
Gary has been a very good boy. The weather's been excellent. We'll see if it'll continue. Stay with us.
Super week. The world's biggest junior livestock show is now at the state fairgrounds, and Farm Director Gene Wheatley says it may be teaching kids an important lesson.
This is the big step for Oklahoma's FFA and 4-H kids in a long line of plodding steps through a lot of county shows just to get here. And they learn a lot about life from their animals. Now first, get a good grip on any situation, because it's going to be a long, hard pull. Always keep it clean. Yes, Johnny, even behind the ears. Keep a close eye on your work. Don't be too nosy. Now, at times, life will make you look a little funny. That's to be expected. Now, to get over those little embarrassing moments, I just chew on a piece of straw, grab a quick shave, and I always feel better. Now, remember this lesson. It's always crowded at the top. And there's a lot of waiting once you get there. Once in the show ring, the pressure really gets rough, and sometimes just plain old unbearable. You know, when you're having a day when nothing goes right, and you'd like to yank someone's head off, when the bottom drops out, you can blot out the entire thing, or just keep stroking and work it all out. Was it all worth the effort?
Yeah, I think it was.
Know what? I bet it's unanimous. At the world's biggest junior livestock show, I'm Gene Wheatley, Newsline 9.
Lessons to live by
Yes.
from Gene Wheatley.
Great.
Those are great kids out there. We saw some of them at the warehouse yesterday.
Yeah, super deal all
Boy, I
weekend.
tell you, you didn't go to the warehouse, you missed it.
Yeah, sure did.
You
It
bet.
was fantastic.
So was the weather,
The weather
yesterday
was fantastic.
and
And it
today.
was fantastic. It'll be reasonable tomorrow for most of the day.
Good.
Okay. For Oklahoma City, we had a low of 40. High today, 65. Right now, 64. Relative humidity, 38%. Barometric pressure, 30.06 and falling. Winds southwest about 2 or 3 miles per hour. No precipitation in the state, just clear skies, light winds. Obviously, it's very beautiful. We'll call it mild tonight. It might feel a little bit cool, but kind of mild tonight, and I think continued mild tomorrow. But the winds are going to increase a little tomorrow, and the cloud cover is going to increase. And I think it looks like tomorrow night in western Oklahoma, if we can look at our current temperature map, western Oklahoma, we're going to have some showers and thunderstorm development spread across the state tomorrow night, and also Wednesday looks gray and wet and all that. Temperatures, they range from 63 in the Lawton area to, look at that, around Salisaw, Fort Smith, 70. Everyone else is in between. Super wet. Spring's on the way almost. Might mention the average date of the last freeze here in the central part of the state is usually around March 28th. It can vary quite a bit. Okay, out to our west, the cloud, if you're watching last night, I was here Sunday night, believe it or not. Out to the west in the Pacific yesterday, and it's now moved inland, the cloud cover with an upper storm system moving toward Oklahoma. The winds are coming around southerly. It's going to bring the moisture up. You see that little area right in there? That's low clouds. These are all high with the jet stream across here, but low clouds are moving, so moisture coming up, storms coming across. It is going to storm, looks like tomorrow night and Wednesday, and then move out, and then we'll probably have a little bit more right after that. Temperature-wise, I think we're in good shape all around the country. El Paso, 67. San Francisco, 56, and let's see, New Orleans, 65. Oh, cool in New Orleans, 65. The only freezing temperature, at least up here, 31. That's in Albany, New York. National radar, a little wet to our west. Probably the upper elevations have a little bit of snow with this, but it's a little warmer as time goes along. Some rain in South Texas, and South Texas should light up pretty good with rain later tonight and tomorrow. And the East Coast looks good, no significant precipitation. Forecast map for tomorrow. Right now, it appears the low pressure area and the fronts and such will mainly stay to our south. Now, as spring progresses, they'll come a little further north, obviously, but it looks like this one's going to pass just to our south. If for some reason it should develop in the Texas Panhandle and move due east, we could have the potential for some severe weather. Right now, it looks like the real heavy-duty stuff will be to our south, and that's good news. Dallas tomorrow, chance of rain, showers, and thunderstorms, and about 73 for a high, 60 at Kansas City, 51 Denver, Memphis, 68. And it's still a little cool in Miami. It's about 73. There's a 5-day forecast. High tomorrow, 68. Looks like the probability of precipitation in central Oklahoma, in fact, about anywhere in the state tomorrow night and Wednesday is about 70, 80%. Now, keep in mind that doesn't always, if it's a high number, doesn't mean it's going to rain a lot. It just means there's a good chance of at least getting wet. But we'll watch it for you. And the high on Wednesday, 55. Thursday, back up to 60. Friday, we'll go 70. And what normally happens in the springtime, it always seems to storm on Friday night. Forecast for the state for tonight, fair and mild, winds southerly 5 to 15, lows in the range of 43 to 50. And for tomorrow, increasing cloudiness, mild, some rain and a few thunderstorms west, the wind south 10 to 20, highs 65 to 73. And for Oklahoma City, let's call it increasing cloudiness and mild tomorrow with south wind 10 to 20, morning low will be 45, high tomorrow afternoon 68. Roger has a great backyard. You like that?
Yeah, it's super.
It's a little moist, but it does all right.
Invite us all over then sometime, right?
You got it. You got it. Thank you, Gary. President Reagan has declared a major disaster for parts of Florida. This because of a citrus industry soured by severe winter weather. Mr. Reagan's declaration will permit the use of federal funds and relief and recovery efforts. That, of course, will apply only to designated disaster areas in the state of Florida. Mr. Reagan made the announcement during his two-day summits with Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney.
City police are searching for a purse snatcher who may be connected to a series of robberies. Detective Ken Smith has this week's Crime Stoppers report.
On March the 7th, around 8:30 in the evening, several women customers were shopping at Face Designs, located at 4104 North Portland. A white male, approximately 6'2", weighing 160 to 170 pounds, with reddish blonde hair, wearing a green and black ski mask, blue jeans, and a blue jean jacket, boots, and carrying a blue steel revolver, entered the store. He ran up to one of the women, stuck the gun to her head.
Give me those purses or I'll blow her away.
The woman then gave the suspect her purses, and he left the store.
Don't move or my partner will blow you away.
Their purses were later found at 63rd and North Meridian.
We believe that this suspect has committed other robberies in the Oklahoma City area. So if you have any information about this robbery or any other serious crime, contact Crime Stoppers at 235-7300. And as always, all callers will remain anonymous, and you could earn up to a $1,000 reward. For Crime Stoppers, thank you. I'm Detective Ken Smith.
Well, Willie and Mickey are back in the game of baseball.
But did the decision to oust them come from left field? John Snyder is coming up next with sports. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Pat Sajak. Weeknights at 6:30 on TV9. Join me and Vanna White for Oklahoma's #1 game show, Wheel of Fortune.
As contestants spin the wheel to compete for cars, jewels, vacations, and other fabulous prizes. Play along at home and see if you can solve the winning puzzles.
For the correct answer, TV contestants get a chance to win a showcase of prizes. So tune in to the game show you made #1, Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 6:30, right here on TV9.
Well, John, do you think we're finally hearing the last round of this gambling?
Well, in about a month, they're going to set up new guidelines for what players can do. But as so many people have pointed out, all the people who have been convicted of drug usage, a lot of them are back in the game. And Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, all they did was shake hands at gambling casinos and play golf with a few guys. And baseball owners own racehorses and racetracks and everything else. I think it was a stupid decision when it was originally made, and I think the commissioner did the right thing today. Peter Ubroff, who's the baseball commissioner, took action today, or it's more accurate to say that he undid some action which was taken earlier. It will be very popular among baseball fans. Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle, two of the game's greatest stars, can now be involved in baseball again if they so desire. Mantle and Mays, this is Mantle, two of the game's greats, were banned from any baseball connection by the previous commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, because both work as public relations men for Atlantic City casinos. Shake hands, play a little golf. But Kuhn still said they couldn't be connected with the game. Ubroff said that was rather silly. They are now free to be part-time coaches or TV people if desired.
I'm really happy today, and actually it was really a surprise. I had no idea this was going to happen. I was at home playing golf yesterday, and they said come to New York, so it was really a surprise to me.
When you have those kind of feelings, you did something wrong. If you don't do anything wrong, you can't have those kind of feelings. I think the feeling was this man did something special for himself. He's coming in as a commissioner not knowing what happened to me 4 or 5 years ago, and now he's saying to us, hey, you're entitled to make a living.
That's Willie Mays. The Sooners will play in the NCAA Regional in Dallas at 5:30 Thursday night against Louisiana Tech. We will televise the game. You can see it right here at 5:30 on Thursday. In Oklahoma's 2 NCAA wins so far, the fact that there is no 45-second shot clock has been no factor because the Sooners only shoot way before 45 seconds. But Billy Tubbs says that no clock has proved one thing to him.
AA tournament once again is proving that we need the shot clock. We need to have a shot clock. There's some ridiculous things happen, like a 19-17 score at halftime in one of the games, people holding the ball for 6 to 8 minutes. The Kansas Ohio game, or was it Miami of Ohio, whoever, Miami of Ohio went something like 7 minutes without taking a shot in that game. Tell me one more time that's not ridiculous.
That's Billy Tubbs. Again, you can see the Oklahoma game at 5:30 on Thursday night. At 8 o'clock on Thursday night, you can see the Memphis State-Boston College game from Dallas. If the Sooners win that first game for them on Thursday, they would play on Saturday against the Memphis State-Boston College winner. About 6 weeks ago, Chris Everett Lloyd beat Martina Navratilova in the finals of a tournament. Many felt that possibly Chrissy would again become
competitive with Martina, perhaps challenge her again for the #1 spot in the world. Not really. Martina has won the last 2, including yesterday in Dallas in the finals of the Virginia Slim Tournament. This is Chrissy in the lower court right here. She got beat in straight sets, so the last 2 times she has played Martina, she has lost in straight sets. Martina won it yesterday easily at 6-2, 6-3. As she beat her that badly a couple of weeks ago, she's beaten her something like 14 of the last 15 times. Chrissy has changed her game dramatically in the last couple of years, comes to the net a little bit more, but still, Martina clearly, without question, is the #1 female tennis player in the world. The Oklahoma Basketball Coaches Association today named their Player of the Year and their Coach of the Year, and we'll talk with both of those gentlemen at 6 o'clock.
You're going to keep it a secret, aren't you?
They can guess. El Reno's got the basketball player.
Okay, there's
All
a
right,
hint.
very good.
When we come back, their minds were made up.
And they didn't like Senator Boren changing his. Stay with us. Some Oklahomans want some answers tonight from Senator David Boren. A group of peace marchers gathered in front of Boren's office this afternoon, demanding to know why the senator changed his position on the MX missile. Last Friday, Boren voted to release funds for 21 additional missiles.
For him to go out and filibuster and plead so passionately for the welfare of the farmer just days ago, to try to help poor people and working people and family people in this state, and then just days later vote $1.5 billion for a weapon that at best is useless, at worst is very, very dangerous, I think is a gross misplacement of priority.
The group's persistence finally paid off. Several members spoke with Senator Boren late this afternoon on a conference call with Washington. But they tell me after an extended conversation, both sides merely agreed to disagree on this vital issue.
Let's check out our 6 o'clock broadcast. Here's Patty.
Well, virtually everyone Newsline 9 talked to at John Marshall High School, from students to teachers, said there is no violence there. They are upset over a newspaper report alleging discipline problems at John Marshall. We'll have a report on that at 6. And at 6, we will talk live with Corrections Director Larry Meacham about the house arrest program and his stand on it. Also, we'll tell you who's running for what tomorrow. Roger?
Out of New York, and Dan Rather.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting.